The map is usually invisible, but it shows up whenever I get
in
excited or whenever
like
my
in the
schedule
interest of
rises to
what we're
the
watching and
occasion.
given the technology and that, you know, am I the only one who's quite shocked by the advancement of VR headsets in a matter of like a few years?
The map is usually invisible,
Like
but it
they
shows
literally
up
went
whenever I get
from
excited or whenever my
nothing
schedule rises
They'll
to
always be
putting
a
your
niche.
phones in to like,
The
we
thing
have
is with VR though, it'll always be just a niche thing. I
Yeah.
don't think it'll ever actually properly catch on. Like I can't imagine me running out in like 10 years time to get the latest VR headset. Um, like I do with like a PlayStation, like with a brand new PlayStation or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I'm not gonna be booking that shit.
See, a lot of
6
people
months
said
in
that about
advance.
the home computer as well, and they were all proven wrong. So it's hard to tell
But see,
how it's going to go. It has to go
I
mainstream. Is the thing. It has to be
it,
mainstream.
it's also gotta like put out something. It's gotta put out. There's gotta be one game that blows that out of the fucking water and shoots it into the mainstream.
Mm.
And I don't think it's ever going to get that far.
that
We're
was
gonna want
supposed to be
fucking-
that was supposed to be Beat Saber.
Yeah, but that's fun. I did play that a couple of
But
times.
you know
That's
what?
fun.
Actually, I tell you what will actually do that are racing games. That's what we'll do. It'll be Gran Turismo. It'll be the F1 game. That's what's going to get VR over because you actually. And actually, Dave, you'll appreciate this. I think actually Flight Simulator will do that too because
It's already there. You can already.
it's
do
already
that.
there. Exactly. So that'll be the only real
the
way
only
to
problem
play it.
is that in order to do it properly, you need a big fuck off GPU.
Yeah,
Like
exactly,
you need
yeah.
to really like invest in a GPU. Oh yeah, it's there. Look,
The kitty.
God, no, wait, no.
There's a wild kitty. Oh, there
Having her
hey.
food. He's having her food.
So yeah, I think that'll be it then because I think even something like a racing game, the setup is relatively simple. You have your wheel, you have your pedals, you have your VR headset, and away you go. Basically,
It's handy because like obviously you don't have to have a screen in front of you. So having like iRacing has VR compatibility now. I could go on, plug my headset into my PC, download iRacing, and off I go.
Off you go. Exactly. Yeah.
You know.
Oh.
So
yeah,
I would love to be able to play F1 just with the controller and the VR headset. But you can't do that.
I tried to play F1 games recently. I don't know. I found it to be like way too. Is complicated the word that I should be using here?
Too in depth.
It's got FIFA syndrome, and it is a thing that if you play FIFA for years, you know automatically how to play FIFA. The same way that if you jumped on to when the Formula One games were brought by EA, or rather Codemasters, should say, and like that was back in 2013, I think it was. So if you play them since 2013, you know how to play the games. The core gameplay is still the same. But if you're only jumping on now, it feels like a higher entry bar than it actually is.
Racing games, racing
overall
games have
difficulty's
never
changed.
been the same and peaked with Colin McRae Rally on the PS1, and we have
You see,
never.
F1 2001 on PS2 still is my favorite F1 game to this day.
I can tell you right now, and I'm speaking as someone who plays quite a lot of racing games. The best racing game has already been made, and it's only recent. It's only a recent one. It is called Art of Rally.
Never heard of that.
That is objectively the best racing game I've ever played. And when you look at it initially, you think you're chatting shit, but play it, just absorb yourself into it, and I can tell you right now, it's the best racing game you'd ever play.
So what I did love when I had an Xbox for a bit, loved the Forza games.
The best game, really?
Yes, I'm telling you right now, Dave. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, that's the best racing game I've ever played.
Okay, I'll give it a go. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, no, believe me, I cannot endorse this game further. Like this is honestly the best game I've.
Because normally when I see something come out on Switch, I don't really hold it as like a, if it's a Nintendo IPO, that's Nintendo IP, that's different. But really, I don't see it. But again, I'll have to play it for it.
Yeah, that's the difference. You see, this is where you're getting caught, Dave. You see, you're focusing on the aesthetics of it. You're not like the actual gameplay, the actual sensation of the gameplay, and that's what makes it the best.
Okay.
Because in the end, the racing game is either something really fucking superficial like Forza or Need for Speed, and it looks visceral, looks great, but the gameplay is actually kind of shit. Whereas if you actually look, if you want substance, you're looking for Gran Turismo. Whereas Art of Rally is substance with a very minimalist design. And the soundtrack is absolutely incredible as well. So yeah, here's another interesting thing as well, right? So when we were talking to Jane here, basically
we have not been paying attention to this game for like the last 20 minutes.
I know. This is a game we drown out every now and then. It's just the nature of it. So
he's playing the piano now, so
yeah, he's playing the Geordie. Exactly, he's playing the Geordie.
Does he think he's Elton John now, or?
Well, he is Rocket Man, isn't he?
Yes, that's he is technically.
Oh well, yeah, yes.
That is a euphemism.
Yeah. So yeah, he was recording Jane through that entire conversation, which is so fucking sleazy.
Hey, look, floppy disks.
Yeah. Well, that's a Star Trek thing, because in the original series everything was like cartridges, like little fucking Game Boy cartridges, basically.
I saw. I don't know if I sent it to you, Dave. It was a TikTok last night. It was like, I'm about to show my kids my 3-inch floppy. It's like it just cuts to some dude just going, "What?"
It just cuts to Chris Hansen walking in, going, "Hey,
Chris Hansen, Jesus, have you heard the shit that man has been up to in the last like 5 years?"
Yep.
Jesus Christ!
It's like that scene in Scrubs where he goes, "Love Connection was never cancelled. It's just not on TV anymore. I still play episodes with couples from the neighborhood. My basement."
But like the thing is, going onto YouTube is actually quite a smart way of doing your career, right? Especially when you're doing like the Predator, Catch Predator shit, right? It's just that he did that, and then people were like, "Oh, it's Chris Hansen. This is kind of cool. This makes sense." And people delved into what he's been doing, just screwing people out of like thousands of dollars over the last couple of years for like the most inconsequential shit. Like by the end of it, you're just like, dude, come on, you're on TV. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And getting caught up in like YouTube drama and all with fucking Onision, which is a deep cut for anyone who watches like old school YouTube out there.
Jesus.
Here, I'm still finding out what fucking Vines were. That shit got to me and passed me by within the blink of an eye.
Do you know how I got into Vines?
Ooh!
Oh! I'm gonna turn off my camera again. 2 seconds
now. Yeah, you're gonna be seeing that a lot. That like whenever she's around, basically, she just
in her underwear, like the majority of the story.
Pretty fucking much. You're just gonna get used to it, lads. I'm sorry. I know it's upsetting you right now, but it just gotta get used to it.
No, I'll make the sacrifice for the good of the channel.
You will.
Do you know, as we're playing a game, it only popped up to me recently because I was in GameStop, slowly was looking at phones. How quick Hogwarts Legacy was like the biggest game in the world, and how quick it died due to just like
because it didn't. Yeah, people completed it, and then there was something to do.
There was nothing else to do.
This is the problem with games nowadays. Like, I understand the problem, the attention span, and the evolution of games has caused these games to be non-replayable because unless you have a different tangent to go off on. For example, when you play RPGs like Skyrim or Starfield or Fallout, for example, where every time you play it, it's a little bit different. It follows the same linear story, but there's a treat to it where, oh well, I've not gotten to this branch because I need to be this type of person. Like, there's replayability in it. With Hogwarts Legacy, it's, well, even if I am in a different house, it's still the same story.
But you know what? That's not even the issue, right? Because you could say the same as well about Spider-Man 2. I cleared that game 3 times. It's the same fucking thing every time. I still cleared it 3 times because it was fun. Whereas Hogwarts Legacy just was a bit iffy as was. It was still fun. Let's be honest. You get Avada Kedavra. You're having some fucking fun with Avada Kedavra, but there was no DLC. There was nothing, and they never announced any DLC. So I was like, why should I continue to play
this? Apparently there is DLC coming, but this is the problem.
It's too late now.
Too late.
Yeah, it's a long time.
But there's also the time and effort and all the work that needs to go into DLC nowadays is astronomically big.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
a lot more
like you
than it
have to
was.
start working on the DLC before the game's even fucking released.
Yeah,
In
Like,
fact,
do you know what I
that's the
mean?
whole point. Essentially, is you're basically like boxing off content so you can sell it off later. So in a way,
And-
I actually kind of like respect Hogwarts Legacy for just selling you the entire product, because
Yeah.
otherwise they would just sell. They just hold off a storyline to use it. Like
but
again, don't get me wrong.
like that's just not going to survive these days anyway with modern gaming. The story can be the best thing you ever played, and it can be legitimately fantastic. But you need something else after that story's done. And if people know something's coming, you can save yourself for a couple of months, like with Spider-Man.
Okay, do you really need to? Like, think of it this way, right? Because that's a publisher's trick. That's a Nintendo trick. That's an EA trick, right? If you're a studio like Hogwarts, and again, I don't know what exactly studio or publisher they were.
Portkey Games, is that it?
Portkey,
yeah.
Warner Brothers, effectively.
Okay, right. So they don't have the same model as Nintendo or EA do, or Ubisoft, right? Ubisoft are cunts for DLC.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'll be honest with you, like, I'm actually quite glad they packed the entire game into one full release and with one full price, because I'd say if you actually look into it, they probably did make their money out of the full release initially. Usually when DLCs are released, it's because they need to supplement something else in the company, as opposed to something else in the game series. So like the Nintendo DLC for, say, Pokemon Scarlet Violet pays for the next Mario game oftentimes, or pays for like a side project that no one really cares, like none of the big kind of franchises care about. You know, it's to supplement something else. It's the interconnected nature of it. Ubisoft does this all the time, where like it goes, okay, we have Far Cry coming out this year, and we have 2 DLCs for it. So that second DLC will start funding the studio in Montreal for Assassin's Creed fucking 17. You know, kind of way.
Well, actually, did you see the link I put in about the next Assassin's Creed game? Sorry, no, for cutting you off. Did you see what they're doing with that? That looks like it could be legitimately revived. It should revitalize. It should revitalize the whole thing, because that last Assassin's Creed, I haven't touched it since the first week it came out. It's just shite.
See, the thing with Assassin's Creed is, and I remember having this debate before with people who played the later Assassin's Creed games, and the gameplay is really good. And I came in as somebody who was actually intrigued with the initial premise of this guy basically inheriting all the Assassin's skills over time, and it really frustrated me about the whole series, because they obviously drop it at Assassin's Creed 3, but they don't do it for the right reasons. They do it because the market analysis told them that Desmond is a terrible character and they should get rid of it. Whereas, like, I use Metal Gear Solid as a comparison. You know, the market analysis of Metal Gear Solid 2 was that, Raiden was a completely despised character because he wasn't Snake. So what did Kojima do? He made him a cyborg ninja, and now everyone fucking loves him. If you have a character that no one likes, give them a reason to like them. Don't just kill them off and just completely destroy the whole premise of the franchise just because you want to make more games and you have nothing else. You actually have no creative integrity whatsoever.
When it comes to Assassin's Creed, I don't mind that they use different protagonists and like they use different. I didn't mind that. Origins is brilliant. I actually don't mind the human characters storyline in the most recent Assassin's Creed games. It's kind of fun, right? You don't touch it all that long, and you get out of it as quick as possible so you can get back into fucking hidden blading people.
But that's also my issue. Yeah. Right. Well, after all that excitement, lads, do you want to know what the fuck we're doing on this in this game? Then would that help?
I mean, I suppose it probably would fucking help. All right, yeah, let's go.
Okay, right. So will you start Jane's Arse? I'll tell you what the plot is. So, the reason why Crystal Boy cut up her clothes in the first place is not to be a sex pest. That obviously had a lot to do with it. But she has this kind of tattoo thing on her back, basically.
Yeah.
And then she explains that her father was a guy called Captain Nelson. Don't ask me. And essentially, he had 3 twin daughters, or 3 triplets, essentially. And there's Jane, there's Dominique, and then there's Kathy. There's 3 of them there, right? So Captain Nelson, when he retired, basically from being a pirate captain, had a great load of treasure, and he wanted to hide it somewhere in the galaxy. So what did he do? He got all 3 of his daughters to have tattoos on their backs, and when you put the 3 together, that's when you see where the treasure is.
Oh,
okay.
So that's what the crack is. So what we're doing now is, now that we have Jane's tattoo, obviously it means nothing to us. And so what we need to do is try and find her 2 other sisters who are apparently on the run. So we have now landed on a desert planet called the planet Sid, where we think she's hiding out. And that's basically it. That's where we're at.
Cool.
Yep. And yeah, so you better get used to Desert Planet, because that's actually where the majority of the game is.
Ah, great.
Yeah, the pacing of this game is a bit weird.
I will say, do you know what's very fucking annoying? That goddamn sound in the background. Do, do,
Boop. Yeah.
do, do.
Again,
It's Jesus Christ.
it's very it's very Star Trek.
There's a baseline, Aaron.
Yeah.
That's like 2003 Law and Order SVU stuff like that.
Doom, 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 doom. I do love as well that, like, again, going with the whole male power fantasy thing, his ship has a giant phallus on it. Like
These are the ships from
And
Man
that's
of
the
Steel?
hole where it goes in.
Are these all the ships from Man of Steel? The phallic-shaped fucking prison ships?
I feel like
Yeah.
you may have nicked one from
I wouldn't know, Aaron. I've only ever watched Dean Cain, Terry Hatcher, and Lois and Clark.
You're not gonna get me with that. Like I do love how of all the Supermen as well that you've watched that you're
He
like
did have to take a deep breath
focusing
there.
this
Did
on
you see
is
that?
fucking Dean Cain Superman.
Did you see how he had to take a deep breath and just like control his third rate before he responded? It's like, no, don't fall for the trap, don't fall for the trap, and go.
It was. Do you know what? I was actually like, I watched that when I was younger. Right, Dean Cain Superman and Lois is cheesy bullshit. All right, it's great for what it is, because it was one of the very first times Superman was on any sort of TV in live action since Christopher Reeve's one. Oh, was it the first one?
Yeah,
No,
so
it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah, right. That's great. Until like years later, I found out that he didn't get any work anymore, and he was one of the first people to go because I'm a Republican as an excuse, not the fact that he's a very shit actor.
Look,
I mean, Republicans are shit actors, in fairness.
Look.
I mean, just look at The Rock, you know?
the bottom line, Rock is a shit actor. I'm sorry. He is one of the worst I've ever seen him, apart from one film. There's one film I watched him in. Nope. There's one film I watched him in. That was his performance was actually probably the best of his career, and that was Snitch.
Jesus, I don't even remember.
He was
that
in
one.
Snitch with John Bernthal. It's a very good film. It's not spoken about very often, if at all. But I would recommend that you go find it and go watch it, because it is Dwayne Johnson's performance of his career. But the problem is, that was the performance of his career, yet no money was made off it because it was just
Maybe that's a
Just
secret.
sort of-
Like, maybe he realized there's actually more money in generic jungle
Oh
movie every-
yeah, absolutely. But
Yeah.
it's just a shame. 'cause
See,
he
that's
can't
fine as
actually
well.
act.
That's fine as well. I actually, what the fuck?
Ah, yes, the Egyptians. Forgot about this.
Yeah. Well, obviously, on like this is clearly a clock tower, and whenever it strikes 3 o'clock, some naked women just dance.
Are you sure this isn't Outworld? It looks very like Outworld.
It does have a few things like that, all right, yeah. But those are basically two bronze statues, and then whenever like the clock like chimes, they basically do a little twirl.
What was I going to say there? Like, The Rock probably could have been originally what John Cena has now become, which is big man who can be serious, but it's funny when he's serious in stupid situations.
Yep, that's it.
I mean, that's basically it. That's why Peacemaker is the most successful DC property that's not Batman in the last 15 years or 20 years. That's in movies, I might point out, because there's some decent TV shows. And
Is
it's
Black
the
Adam
reason why-
also a DC thing,
Yeah.
is it?
What is it?
Yeah.
Black
Yeah,
Adam,
Black
yeah.
It flopped.
That
though.
must really piss Rock's boil. Like,
But see, the
that,
thing-
that
do you know what
must
I-
spoil his taste, like.
The problem with that was as well, he was cast as Black Adam before the MCU was fucking created as it was today. Like, he was in that role for a decade and a half before it actually got off the ground. And there's definitely something there, It's just that when he immediately went, I don't want to fight Shazam, I want to fight Superman, it's like, you don't really like Black Adam. You just want to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
Because there's no reason for Black Adam other than Shazam existing. Where Shazam can exist away from you, you can't really exist away from Shazam.
And that's what shit all over it. That's initially why the fans went, nah, can't be after that. You're not actually staying true to, like, the MCU stays as true as possible from a theatrical point of view to the actual stories of the characters. The DC universe just doesn't. There's no stability. There's no truth to life to it. No truth to story to it. Like,
well, now we have James Gunn, which I'm sure he's gonna do a great job.
Oh yeah, Fast and Furious went fantastically well after the 17th film.
Hey guys, anyone want some fresh face fish?
Oh God, is that the fish that killed fucking
Steve Irwin.
Steve Irwin. There we go. I couldn't fucking remember his name for a second.
But not only is it the fish that killed Steve Irwin, it also stole his face and stretched it across his body.
Yeah, how very John Wayne Gacy of him.
I'll never forget, my brother got well into Steve Irwin when he was younger. Right, his height, brother loved him. And my mum had to wake him up one morning and goes, just don't freak out now, I'm about to tell you. But Steve Irwin's dead. And he was just like... he didn't recover for about a week. He didn't recover for a week.
That's terrible.
He couldn't comprehend it that Steve Irwin was dead. And
there's very few celebrities in the world that I would have that kind of reaction to, if I'm honest. I think one of them would probably be Shawn Michaels, if I'm honest, because like if people ask me like who's your idol, I'd be like Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels. Everything Shawn Michaels I watch, everything Shawn Michaels I tried to copy, everything Shawn Michaels I tried to do. You know that type of way when you have like that idol that you grew up with, like. But very few, very few. Like I'll say, oh, that's terrible, oh, that's sad. But yes, Raven the Builder, get the lights on.
Oh, lads, here
Someone
we go.
get the ketamine out.
Lads, I'm not joking. Like this is my favorite part of the game. Just this song.
Now we will get David Guetta after all.
Yeah. Oh no, we're not getting David Guetta. We're getting someone better.
Ooh.
We got Rocknight.
What the fuck? Okay, I just fell back in my chair. There is a knight playing the guitar. A golden knight at that.
Dave, it's Rocknight. It says right there. His name is Rocknight.
This is the best game ever. It's got a literal rock knight.
He's a rock knight.
Look, he's a walking pun.
Yeah.
So as we're talking about Rock, can I tell you the exact movie where I lost faith in The Rock as an actor? San Andreas.
Really?
Like
not anything with Kevin Hart, no?
No, because at that point I still relatively like The Rock. San Andreas is one of my most hated films of all time. So much so that I brought the screen of my laptop because I slammed it down so hard after I watched it. I thought it was the
why did you hate it so much?
I love disaster movies. 2012 is one of my favorite movies ever.
I watched that countless times.
Great movie.
I only watched Deep Impact for the first time at the back end of last year. Now I loved it. Yeah, like I love disaster movies. Laura will tell you. Fucking, there's parts of the year where I literally do a binge of. I'll do Armageddon, Deep Impact now, 2012. What else is there?
Volcano.
What's the one with Pierce Brosnan? With the volcano.
I mean, we're talking about disaster movies involving Pierce Brosnan, Mamma Mia.
No, the genuine
There's a volcano movie with Pierce Brosnan that came out at the same time.
Disaster.
That's another volcano movie.
Something Peak. Dante's Peak.
Dante's Peak, yeah.
I watch all of that. Every disaster film that is legitimate disaster film, not like Sharknado or one of the fucking films. But I fucking love them, man. I watched them countless times in my life because I just love disaster films.
But
sorry,
San
Aaron,
Andreas...
you hit a point of enthusiasm there with me.
No, that's fine. Disaster films are great. We all love disaster films. But this was one of the ones where I was just like, it was the point of the writing of this movie to make sure that everyone was unlikable, and also Kylie Minogue is in it for 2 minutes and gets sucked out of a building.
Now, how can you not love it for that alone, you know? It has its good point. Right, Snitches on Netflix, Aaron. I suggest you and Chloe give that a watch tomorrow.
No, I have to finish off The Last of Us before I can watch anything else that's belonged to myself. And she's she actually got pretty hooked on The Last of Us now, so she wants to finish it off.
Right.
But,
Well, the next film you watch is that. I've sent you the link. I've sent you the IMDb link on WhatsApp.
Cool.
Oh, he's about to go into a dungeon underneath the pyramids.
Yeah. So when you guys were chatting there, we were talking to Rocknight, and that's what he actually sounds like, as you probably heard from the voice acting.
Rocknight.
So fun fact, that was actually a Christian rock band, because they were rocking out for God there. I don't know if you noticed.
They were not.
They were. They said they're making grooves for God. And apparently, Rocknight, as he says in dialogue, he wants to spread love through the universe. There you go, Rocknight.
How very Ron Jeremy of him.
Very much so. Well, we don't know who's under the armor, James. To be fair. But basically, what we got from that was that there is somebody basically underground, and it's a guy called Dr. Light, who apparently will help us out with the next bit of plot. So we have to find him now. But essentially, we just have to, where we think it's actually a dead end, we actually have to keep going on, and he's there. His HUD is there. So that kind of solves that. Now again, this is really annoying because we obviously get told in dialogue that basically if you go to this place now, it'll appear. But the problem is that you actually have to go to the spot they're talking about, and then look around, and then the option appears up. The road just doesn't magically appear now after being told. You have to prove to the game that you're paying attention, and then you get your bit of access. Then it's quite annoying, but again, quite commonplace for this timer to pull tricks like that, because it's a programming flag at the end of the day. Again, I also find it amusing that another connection to Mega Man is a character called Dr. Light, considering he's the professor in that show.